What's up guys, this is Darkbblue. Warlong is an action game with great potential. Its combat system, with the emphasis on spirit, is not that easy to understand. So the first goal of this video is to help you learn it. But that's not all, as some other people can do this as well. Only I, who have played Warlong into depth, can draw the 3 important conclusions in this video. They can help you understand this game even better. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's dive right into it. In Warlong, both enemies and players have something called spirit. They look much similar indeed. For example, they are both displayed beneath health bar, and its left side, the red bar indicates negative spirit, while the right side, the blue bar, indicates positive spirit. But there's a crucial difference. You can deflect the attack of enemies, but your enemies cannot. It is this difference that makes the spirit of enemies and players play different roles in combat. So I'll introduce them separately. Now let's start with the spirit of enemies. It works as an execution bar. There is only one way for enemies to gain spirit. When they hit you, no matter it actually deals damage or is blocked by you, they will gain spirit. But there are multiple ways for them to lose spirit. When you deflect attacks or attack enemies or destroy certain parts of their bodies, they will lose spirit. You can see this as doing damage to their spirit. Besides, when enemies use red light attack, they will consume some spirit as well. Also, you can damage the upper and lower limit of enemy spirit through similar methods to damaging their spirit. So you are actually damaging spirit and its limit at the same time, which makes it easier to reduce spirit to its lower limit. When it finally meets the lower limit, enemies will be stunned, and you can perform an execution to do decent amount of damage. This is how enemy spirit works as an execution bar. Now we can come to the first conclusion. The mechanics of enemy spirit has shown us the ideal and the most basic combat style of Warlong. You don't do damage directly. Instead, you will be focusing on reducing their spirit at first. Only after you trigger the execution is it the time to do real damage. This basic combat style is very important, at least throughout your first play. In New Game Plus mode, I suppose there will be other styles like doing damage directly. Actually, this is very common in Team Ninja's recent games, but that's another story. Now let's get back to the ideal combat style. After trying it out in person, you may have found that when you do the execution, the reduced upper and lower limit of spirit will be restored. I know we all want to keep that limit reduced forever, so is it possible to deliberately avoid doing execution? Unfortunately, even if you don't do execution, enemies can do some special moves to restore spirit limit. I'm not very sure of when this move can be used, but at least I'm sure it can be used pretty frequently. So it is not wise to avoid doing execution. I'd prefer to make use of execution to deal more damage. That's everything I want to show about enemy spirit. Now let's turn to player spirit. Instead of execution bar, it works more like energy. You can gain spirit in 3 ways. The 2 simpler ways are using light attack and deflecting. Also, there's a weapon switching attack that has the same effect as deflecting. When this attack is successfully used, you can restore all your negative spirit at once. So although this is harder to use, it provides indeed good reward. You can notice that you can gain spirit in both active and passive ways. The difference between 2 ways and the strategies you can come up with based on them will be one of our conclusions, but I'll leave it later. Now let's focus on when player spirit is reduced. You can consume spirit to do some powerful attacks. They include heavy attack, martial arts, and spells. Among them, heavy attack will consume all positive spirit, and the more it consumes, the more powerful it will be. But martial arts and spells cost a fixed amount of spirit, and their effects don't change with how much spirit you have. Besides this, when you block, dodge, or get hit, you will also lose some spirit as some sort of punishment. Of course, you don't want to get punished, and if you are experienced enough, you can really avoid such situation. But you always need to consume spirit to perform powerful moves. So player spirit works like energy. It always rises and falls as you gain and consume it. Well, since these powerful moves can only be used at the cost of spirit, you will want to get as much benefit as possible. So this is our second conclusion. You have to manage to get more benefits from consuming spirit. And I think this is strongly related with RPG elements in Wolong. However, I need more time to figure it out, how exactly you can get more benefits. I will release a new video talking about it as soon as possible. But for now, I can see heavy attack is really strong. It can greatly reduce enemy spirit as well as spirit limit. And this helps you do execution more easily, while execution roughly equals to decent damage. With heavy attack being so strong, why would one want to use martial arts and spells? They must have some unique advantages, and I will find it out. And finally, we can come to the third conclusion that we have just gave. As you can notice, you can gain spirit in two ways, actively using light attack and passively waiting for the time to deflect. And of course, this can lead to at least two strategies, active or passive. Both strategies make sense and work out fine, but in order to make them even better, I think it's important to study the behavior of enemies. This also requires more time. I'll be back to share it with you in another video. All in all, in this video, I have introduced the basic spirit mechanics of Wolong. This is important, but what's even more important is the three conclusions. Based on the spirit of enemies, I concluded the ideal combat style of this game, reducing spirit first and doing damage later. This is very important, especially during your first playthrough. And based on the fact that you can consume your spirit in exchange for powerful attacks, we know it is crucial to make consuming spirit more beneficial. And I believe this is strongly related with RPG elements in this game. And finally, according to the two ways to gain spirit, both passively and actively, we can design some strategies. And I think this is related to studying enemies' behaviors. As you can see, although I have drawn three conclusions, two of them remain not fully studied. So don't forget to subscribe so that you can receive my updates as soon as possible. If you like my story and if you want to draw me into depths of games, just like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, see you around.